Hello again, we're here with Dr. Malone to continue our series on traumatic brain injury. We had talked about how those terms are defined in one video, and then in a second video we talked about how to diagnose traumatic brain injury. Today the topic of this video is the management of traumatic brain injuries, and I know that's it could be a broad scope of things given your specific diagnosis, but Dr. Malone, tell us what generally is involved in the management of a traumatic brain injury victim.
So most of the time, as we talked about in the prior video, you're going to be under the care of a neurologist, and they're going to be quarterbacking your care for your traumatic brain injury. And most commonly, it's going to be post-concussive care. So managing your symptoms for, maybe not a permanent period of time, but to get you recovered enough that you can function in either the capacity you were before or in a new definition of your normal capacity. So that is medication sometimes. It is working together with a multidisciplinary team, which may include some other rehabilitation specialists, physical therapists, occupational therapists, cognitive or behavioral specialists, psychiatrists, psychologists, things like that. And so it's not a quick, like, oh, go see this doctor and they're going to do a procedure and fix you. It is something where you are put on a track, a long-term track, and monitor your signs, your symptoms, your progress over a period of time before they say, this is your new normal, or you've returned back to normal, okay? That's the post-concussive common treatment. The extreme case, the severe TBI, are people that are going to be lifelong dependent upon someone else in some capacity. They are not able to function as they normally would. They can't function independently. And that is also quarterbacked by a neurologist, but usually with a couple of levels higher of how much care you need every day. And that's obviously a very specific case,
Case by case.
Yeah. So I guess the message here is that this isn't like saying I cut myself and I got stitches and I went to the doctor and they took them out and I'm back to normal. That's not how this works. If you get diagnosed with a TBI, post-concussive even, you're looking at months, sometimes years, okay? Disturbances in your sleep-wake, disturbances in your concentration, what you can handle during the course of a day. Maybe you need to get a new role at your work where you can handle things differently. You can still work, but it's just with new duties or a new surrounding, a new environment. So the neurologist would be the one to help guide that with the help of some other multidisciplinary players on the team. So that is what you're looking at if you get this diagnosis. It's not just okay, I got the diagnosis, now what? Okay, there's several steps beyond that.
Well, all of this is complicated. It's complicated in the sense that you're dealing with an injury to an organ that is not easily understood.
Yeah.
A brain injury is...
You don't see it.
Right. That's why you have to have these specialists. You have to have somebody quarterbacking, also known as coordinating your care between multi-disciplines, whether it be therapists, other specialists in the medical field, mental health professionals, all types of people come in to join to treat the symptoms associated with the traumatic brain injury because they're multifactorial.
Yeah. And I'll add that if you had a primary care doctor before all this, and let's say you had some other conditions like, oh, I have hypertension or I have diabetes, their role becomes much more important as well, because keeping those conditions optimized or balanced does wonders on how you deal with your traumatic brain injury. If those are left unchecked, you're not doing any favors to your traumatic brain injury. So the team you already had in place all of a sudden has a new role, okay, or a bigger role. So that's something to keep in mind.
And from a legal standpoint, all of this, we roll all this into your damage package. And if we can draw a straight line between the traumatic brain injury and the event that brought you to our law firm, we can assert all of this as part of your damages. So if you have a traumatic brain injury, we encourage you to watch the series, the couple of episodes before this. Mm-hmm. If you or a family member has been affected by a traumatic brain injury and you want to know what your legal rights are, you can find us on the web at zarzalaw.com, or you can call us at 855-HIRE-JOE.